religious fanaticism around the world is crazy. Yeah, and people are using religion to justify their communications. Uh, Sometimes it's a matter of interpretation. Yeah, like um, a lot of these is Muslim extremists, are saying things like, that if people don't, uh, what do you call it, join them, then that means they're an enemy of God. That means they're following Satan. So either join them or they kill you. Yeah, and I don't think that's what Islam is about. I think they're taking something to the extreme. But what I have a problem about there is how come the good Muslims are not doing anything to counter that? They're just sitting back and letting it happen. It's almost like they want it to happen so that their religion, no matter what form it is, spreads all over the world. Yeah? I mean, it's not just Muslims that are doing this. I mean, hundreds of years ago, it was the Catholics did the same thing. They come to North and South America and say, if you believe in our God, then we're buddies, and if you don't, then we kill you. We take your land, and since you don't believe in our God, then you don't know what's good for this land, but we do because God is on our side. So that means we know what to do with this land. We know what God means for this land. And we know what God wants this land to become. That's their argument. So then they use that to steal land from indigenous peoples all over the world, not just North and South America, but other parts of the world too, Africa, India, wherever there was a so-called British Empire, and they've been doing things like that, and not just British Empire, Roman Empire, and other things, and all kinds of historical events you can tie into that, and it's all in people interpreting, one something from the Bible, or taking liberties with the translation, yeah, and this is oppression, yeah, using a religion as a way to oppress others. And how do you get people to join something like that? What if I come to your town and I say, hey, you know what? I'm brilliant. I'm super, and I think we should overthrow that next town because they're all dumb and they smell funny and they're really funny looking people, and I think we should overthrow them because I'm a genius and I'm Mr. Wonderful. Yeah? I say that with such fluidity, yeah? Anyway, like I say that all the time, yeah. Oh heck. Oh gosh. Anyway, so and then are you gonna believe me? Are you gonna want to be on my side? And yeah, I think you are wonderful. Yeah, okay. The chance of other people agreeing with me being Mr. Wonderful is probably not a strong argument, yeah? So we have to, to get your support, I have to come up with something, yeah, to accomplish my goal. I have to get your support. So I can say, well, this is this cool idea I have where, where if you do this and do that, then it's going to lead to a wonderful situation for you after you die. And you focus on, I'll say, just think of your grandmas and grandpas that are dead. I mean, you wonder where could they be? Is life just over right now, or is this the ending and nothing more, or is there something else? Well, I'm here to tell you there is something else, and I've received this revelation um, after fasting for 40 days, 40 nights, nonstop prayer up on the hill, and I was and an angel came, and I have to be able to present this story in such a way as to captivate the people. In other words, I have to be charismatic. I have to reach out to them and grab them by their emotion. I have to appeal to their emotion. This is a fallacy. Lawyers do this all the time. Yeah, and I have to say, that this wonderful thing, and I saw my great grandparents, and oh, it was wonderful, and I learned, that to get there, there has to be something done here, on the earth, and that we can still help our relatives who have died before us. We can help them here on the earth, so that they gain this higher status in the afterlife. You say things that really sound good, that really appeal to their fears, because people have. It's common to have a fear of death. That's just, you see, you see from a little kid, you see your pet rabbit die, or maybe your friend gets in a car wreck or something, or your friend drowns, or something like that, or grandma, grandpa die. You see that, and they're gone now. This fear of death. This is why people want to know. Is this the end, or they have this. There must be something else. They want something else to be out there after they die. That this is not over. So you have to appeal to that. If you're going to start a movement or a religion, you have to appeal to their fears and appeal to their emotions, so that they feel good. That, oh yeah, wow, that's gonna happen. Okay, yeah, we'll join your church, yeah. And then after I feed them my brainwashing, once a week, then I can say, there's people over there. I went over there before I came here, and I said the same thing to them, and they all rejected me. And so they don't agree with what I said. They think that what I said is all lies, and they threw me out. And the thing is, since what I'm talking about deals with God, and they threw me out. And that other community threw me out. The funny-looking people, they threw me out. That means they're an enemy to God, and therefore we have to defend the faith. Yeah, and we cannot allow them to expand, because if they expand, they pollute the world. So we must stop that before it happens. So now I have my followers, and now they're gonna say, yeah, Mr. Wonderful, we're behind you. So I said, okay, let's prepare. We are gonna defend the faith. Yeah, we are going to defend God. So then we all get our armies ready, and we get our weapons and stuff like that, and we start marching towards that other town. Onward, Christian soldiers, marching off to war. That's our battle song. So we head to that town of funny-looking people, and we attack, and we obliterate everybody. Just totally, And we're saying God is on our side, and we're going over there and we're just mowing people down left and right, even children. And these children are going to grow up to be enemies of God. They must be wiped out too. That's basically what happened in the world since duality entered the scene. Yeah, so that's why I explained what duality was a few minutes ago, because this is that's used to create this kind of activity to take from others that don't agree with you by using religion. Yeah, and saying that this is we know the will of God. We are God's church. We are God's children. And you see, we brought our message to you, but you rejected it. Therefore, you follow Satan. Therefore, we must destroy you. This is basically the policy for every country that has oppressed another country. They always use a religion. Yeah, in several, a couple thousand years ago, there was Christianity, Catholicism. Even before that, it was people using the law of Moses. Yeah, and it's always using a religion. Yeah, they're always using something to oppress other people, and to keep their followers, they have to have this complex belief system of what's going to happen after we die, and then there has to be things that support that too. Well, who made that possible? Who made that possible? That even if we lived a very sinful life, that we could still get to heaven in the afterlife. Who made that possible? We have to find a way to make even that possible by saying, okay, those souls of those bad people, we can still save them because we know, that they have accepted the gospel on the other side, and we just have to do the work for them on this side by baptizing them by proxy. So there's churches that do things like this. They say that statement, we know for sure, no they don't. How do you know? You're not there. Is there even a there? How do you know that exists? You see, everything is founded upon an idea, but that idea there's no proof of it. There is no I'm sorry, but when people say they have a testimony of it, that's not proof. That's just emotion. That is not proof. And most people, they want proof. That's just, you deserve it. Yeah. Why should you just, why should you focus on something that you don't know 100%? I mean, even the Lakota view, the Lakota Star Knowledge view is most Lakota people don't know what it is. Most Lakota people today are Christianized, and so their view of the afterlife is basically a Christianized view. It's not. They don't really know the original belief. The original belief is reincarnation. Yeah, that's Lakota Star Knowledge, but that's not important. That's what I always say. The most important thing about reincarnation is that it's not important. This Lakota Star Knowledge teaches that the present moment is the most important moment. You live now because you see what you have in front of you. You have your friends, you have your family, you have yourself, you have your body, you have your mind, you have your soul, your emotions. You have that. That's evidence. You have it. So use it wisely. Use it in a healthy way. You know that. And that leads to healthy communication, which by natural law of generosity returns to you 4 times as strong. But don't do it for that reason. You have to do it because you want to do it. And some people are going to say, well, I'm going to do something nice today so that way I can be blessed 4 times. No, it doesn't work like that. Because if you're doing it like that, you're doing it deceptively, and it's going to fuck you over 4 times as strong. Because deception is unhealthy communication. So you have to do it because you want to do it, without expectation, because these things, they don't come to you as gifts. They don't come to you, as a material thing. It might just be an understanding. It might be something different. See, you don't do it for that. You do it because you want to do it. Yeah. So you look around you. You see your family. You see your friends. You see your coworkers, your colleagues, whatever. This you know for sure that they are there. So you work with that. You work with what you know for sure. Because you're in the present moment. You're in the here and now. That's the most important thing. Because that kind of activity and communication influences the future. So how you think now influences the future. That's the most important thing. So wondering what happens next. When you do that and you spend your whole life wondering what happens next, you're just wasting your life. You're missing out on a lot of fun. Because when you stay in the present moment, things taste better, things feel better. When you go through a nice experience, it makes you feel better. Yeah, that's just how it works. So it's not important. It should never be the focus of, whoa, I wonder what happens next. That should never be the focus. The focus should be right now, present moment, with what's in front of you, with what you have, with what you are. That you make do with that. You do the best that you can with that. And you don't do it so you earn a mansion in some, whatever. Since when is a mansion important? That kind of, to me, sounds like materialism. Yeah, in a kingdom where the streets are paved with gold and rivers of honey, land of milk and honey. I think that's how it goes. And well, I'm lactose intolerant, so I don't want to go there. And I don't really like honey either. Streets paved of gold. Shit, that means we have to shine it all the time. Yeah, shit, I don't want to work all day long. That's my argument. Oh gosh. But yeah, this is how that works. Yeah, this whole idea. It's like they have to create this complex system so that people's questions will be answered. Yeah, that's why these belief systems have to be complex. But the thing is, it's all founded upon an illusion. We don't know what's out there, and these people that have these out-of-body experiences, these near-death experiences, I don't believe that has a damn thing to do with the afterlife. Yeah, to me, it's all based on whatever you are programmed with. It's something that's happening in your mind. So those people who are programmed with, most people in the Western world are growing up in the, even if they're not growing up in a Christian household, they know about it through movies and books and whatever. They know about it. They may not even agree with it, but this is what they were brought up with. That's how they're programmed. Even if they disagree with it, they're still programmed that way. So when something like this happens, their mind takes that core information and presents these images which give off these emotions, like a high, like being in a natural high, like even giving the feeling of floating. Well, let me tell you something. The same thing happens when you do sweat lodge ceremony. When you come out of a sweat lodge ceremony, I mean, if you participated in all 4 sessions, and the Lakota version has 4 sessions. Other tribes might have more sessions. Yeah, it always depends. When you go through this, what do you call it? These sessions, and when you come out and you cool, you throw water on yourself and stuff like that. and you get dressed and that, and when you walk around, it's like you're floating. It's like your feet are not even on the ground. It seems like when you take a step, it almost feels like you're gliding. Yeah, you don't even feel the ground. You feel like you're kind of like ice skating on the air almost, even though you're not. It just seems that way. This is all in your mind. Yeah, it just really, it just makes it feel that way. No matter how heavy you are, you feel just light. Yeah, you walk up the steps and you feel like you're floating up the steps. This is how that is. That's all in the mind. Yeah, and that affects the emotions. So you get this really nice feeling because everything's cleansed. Yeah, you've gotten all the junk out of your system, and then you go inside and order Domino's pizza. Hey. Prepare for the next cleansing. Yeah. See, rugged guys, huh? Res, that's the res way. The res boy way. go inside and make a Go inside and make a commodity beef sandwich. Shoot. So it's all in the mind. Yeah, it takes, like I said, it takes whatever you have programmed in there, and it's going to get that, and it's going to present it to you. So if you're in the Western world, you're going to have this feeling of oh, there's all your relatives and all this, who died in the past. They're all standing there waiting for you, and stuff like that, and that's really, who says that's heaven? Even if that were to exist, who says that that's heaven? What if it's something else? Yeah? What if it's not even a place? Yeah? What if it's just a meeting point and nothing more? Yeah? So, important thing is that's not important. Yeah? It's kind of fun to read these things, but it should be left at that entertainment, yeah, because it doesn't matter, because what's more important is right now. If all you're going to be thinking about is these out of body experiences, you're missing the laughter of your children. Yeah, you're missing you're not taking it in fully when your child is asking you, "Can you teach me how to do this?" or when your child is singing to you this first song that it learned. You really are not taking the full power of that experience when all you're concerned about is what happens after you die. Yeah, so that's why the Lakota way of approaching this is stay in the present moment. Yeah, focus on the present moment. Live with nature, and nature will take care of you. Yeah, learn from nature. When sometimes nature gets really difficult, flash floods happen, tornadoes happen, hurricanes, blizzards happen. Pay attention to that. Learn the warning signs when you know that's coming, so you take appropriate action. Yeah, things like that. So so this is more important. Is living in the present moment. That's way more important. So this way, when it is time to take that next step, you've really enjoyed your life. And whatever comes, comes. Okay? But don't worry about that because you're not there yet. Yeah? You're not there yet. Yeah? It's like, it's just let it go. Yeah? Just enjoy the present moment, enjoy what you have. Be reaching for the goals that you're setting for yourself in this life, yeah, and doing what you can to accomplish that. These are more important things because they affect what's happening here. Yeah, they affect what's happening in this time. Yeah, so that is more important. Yeah, so just giving you example of you know using myself and for me to get others to call me Mr. Wonderful, I have to give them a reason. Yeah, I have to give them a reason that they like and a reason where they would want to do what I tell them to do. And that's how religions are created. And then people use these. It has to appeal to all emotions. Yeah, it has to appeal to all the emotions to truly capture these people into my religion. I have to do things and develop things and come up with ideas and concepts to reinforce what I'm saying. Yes, so I'll have to say that okay, on this day this happened, so we celebrate this holiday. Uh, on the day that I fasted, that I feasted. On the day that I feasted for 40 days and 40 nights. That's a Iktomi religion there. I meant at the time that I fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. We're going to make that into a holiday, and we're going to call that Bibapalula. Yeah. So for Bibapalula, we don't eat when the sun comes up, and we have to be thinking prayerful thoughts all day long, and we can't eat until the sun goes down. Then we can have a feast, and we do this for 40 days. Yeah, and that's going to be our holy time, and we're going to call that Bibapalula. Yeah. And then we're also going to commemorate another holiday where let's say okay, there was a prophet born on this one day, so we're going to celebrate his birth, and we're also going to celebrate his death, which his death provided a way for our relatives who lived really no good lives. It provides them a way out of a spirit prison into a heaven. Yeah, and this way we save them. So we're going to celebrate that as a holiday too, and this gets people emotionally involved. Yeah, because they think of, oh yeah, the son of the prophet was born on this one day, and oh, thanks to him, all we have this wonderful belief system, and so they celebrate, and let's give presents to each other, kind of thing. And see, it's fulfilling emotional, what do you call it, needs, and then to celebrate the death, to honor the death of that person. And at the same time, that during the time he died, he set up this program in the spirit prison to help the spirit convicts enter or gain a pardon from God to enter heaven. So we're going to celebrate that next, and we're going to get all emotionally involved because now we know for sure our relatives are in a good place. Do you see what it's creating this whole illusion, because we don't know for sure. There's no, there's no proof of it. There's no video recording of a guy saying, "Okay, I am the son of God, and I did this wonderful thing here, and this is what happened, and give me a video camera. I'll show you. I'll go back to heaven and I'll videotape everything and I'll send it back to you." Through Wi-Fi. Until that happens, no sale for Dave. Yeah. Gosh. But see, this is how religion starts. This is the whole idea. It is so complex because it has to satisfy people's emotional needs to keep them away from themselves, so that they stay away from their sacred center, that they stay away from where reality begins. And this is how you get them to believe in an illusion, by keeping them away from where reality begins. So when I was talking about me creating my own religion to develop my own army, my Mr. Wonderful army, and we go attack the next town because I say they're all goofy looking and they don't agree with me, so that means they're the enemy. See, I gave them a reason to believe what I say. And if I presented an argument that fulfills all their emotional needs and it addresses their fears, but it keeps them away from the present moment, it keeps them away from their sacred center, and therefore they do not really see the fullness of reality because they're not experiencing it, because they're not in the present moment. That's how all religions are today. And now it's getting fanatic. Yeah, people are getting fanatic, and where they say, you go to a country that's predominantly a certain religion, and then you go there, and you're coming from the Western world, and you're wearing clothes from the Western world, and maybe it shows your if you're a woman, maybe it shows your figure. And so somebody says, that lady's bringing temptation. She's bringing sin to this land. That means she's an agent of Satan. Therefore, she must die. Yeah, to keep the honor of this land, we must kill her. Yeah, why not just deport her? No. They have to kill her. See, that's where it gets extreme. And this is and that is fanaticism. That is a mental illness. So see, that's the danger of religion. The danger of religion is it can create fanaticism. That's what happens when you stay away from your sacred center. You come up with crazy ideas that get even crazier as time goes on because you're getting intoxicated into that belief system. What does that mean? You're becoming addicted to it. And it's to the point where that's all you want to do. It invades every aspect of your life. Even when you go into the bathroom, you look at the toilet paper on the toilet roll sitting there, and you're thinking to yourself, that must have the cross on it somehow. So we're going to unravel it and draw crosses on every sheet, then ravel it back up. Do you see what I mean? It goes out of hand. My good friend of mine from London, her name is Pam. She really has the lady. I have to admit is funny, and she does have funny stories to tell. And she was telling me this one because see, Ireland is really Catholic. And I'm talking about the Republic of Ireland. This is the part that it's its own country. It's not part of the United Kingdom. Yeah. See, Ireland has two countries. There's Northern Ireland that's on the very top. These guys are Protestant. These guys are in alliance with England. They are part of the United Kingdom. But the Republic of Ireland is the greater southern part of the island. And this is Catholic. And people don't really realize that this, even up into the 1980s, the Irish government was very strongly ruled by Catholicist, or I should say Catholic ideology, Catholic mentality. It is very strict in Ireland. If you were a wild girl and you went out and just happened to get pregnant, your parents shunned you. They was like, "How dare you? You've stained the family honor." So they would send their daughters to these what they call laundry houses, and they had to stay there and until they had their baby. Then after they had their baby, see, the nuns at these laundry houses, they were selling these babies to people who couldn't have babies, but also people who didn't pass the adoption test from whatever country they came from. So, for example, a lot of American couples, they couldn't have children, so they wanted to adopt, but they couldn't pass the social services approval because maybe the father is alcoholic, maybe the father is has got a problem, maybe he's into maybe he's a sex addict, but they don't know it, but there's something wrong. Yeah. So these people, they had money, so they would go to Ireland and go buy babies, and then they would take them back, and sometimes it was okay, and then sometimes it was shitty. But in most of these situations, these Irish children that were adopted back in the 60s and 70s, maybe even the 50s too, once they turned 18 years old, their families just turned them out in the streets. They didn't even pay for their, their college education. They didn't help them with anything. Once they turned 18 years old, they're like, okay, get out of here. You're not our real daughter. You're not our real son. So go on, get out of here, and don't come back. See, it was like they were a pet. Yeah, a pet. And then once this pet grew up to be an adult, they didn't want to have anything to do with it anymore. And so they really led very, difficult lives. They're yanked away from their biological mother, and their biological mother, a lot of times those women were lied to. The nuns told these Irish women that their babies died to some kind of disease. So they left and were returned to their homes thinking that their children were dead. And a lot of times, they had an excess of children that they could not adopt out. So what did they do? They just left them in the house and closed all the windows and doors and just left them there until they died. Then several weeks later, they go there and they scrape up all the remains and they just bury them. No markers, no record, nothing. And a few years ago, some children were playing in an empty plot of land that belonged to a church, a Catholic church. They were playing there, near there, and their ball went into that yard. So a kid went to go retrieve the ball, and here the ball was behind some bushes. And when he went behind the bushes, he saw a skeleton hand. So right away, he called his mom, and the mom called the police, and they went and checked it out, and it was a baby's hand. And then they did a small dig up, and they found several babies there. And then, see, remember what I said, the Catholic government the government in Ireland is really, really Catholic. And so when they heard about this, they tried to cover it up. And the priests were they did their best to deny that this even existed. And it was just a few years ago that somebody made a film about it, and so then the government had to admit that they lied. And it turned out there's over 850 dead babies buried in that area. They were just left in the building to die because they couldn't sell them. You see all this because the families did not want their daughters to have illegitimate children. Real nice word, yeah? Illegitimate. Child out of wedlock. A bastard. A love child. That to them was a stain on their family honor. And so they didn't, this is what happened to a lot of us. It really, because of that religion, it messed up a lot of mothers and it messed up a lot of children. But as long as it maintained the family honor, that was more what people were more concerned about. Those people are really concerned about what others think about them. That's what religion does. See, it keeps you away from yourself. It keeps you away from your family. It keeps you away from everything that's real. That's sad. Yeah, it's really sad that happened. So it shows you how strong the Catholic faith is in that country. It's like Islam in Saudi Arabia or Afghanistan. That's how Catholicism is in Ireland. I mean, it's lessening its hold on the government now because of what they're all these cover-ups they're finding. The Catholic Church is lessening its hold on the government, and new government leaders are coming in that they want to right the wrongs that their predecessors have committed, which is a good thing. But it still shows you how strong the Catholic faith is in that country. So anyway, that's just the background. Yeah. So when you go inside homes, you see a lot of crosses and a lot of crucifixes, and you go onto the countryside. It's so beautiful. The countryside, the landscape of Western Ireland is just incredibly beautiful. It's magical. It's mystical. And so you're out there, and you're looking, and I was with my sister friend Imelda. We were driving around the island and going into the country and climbing these hills and stuff like that. And she had a binoculars and she just look at that hill over there. First I was saying, "Oh, this is spectacular! This view, looking at the west coast and stuff like that." And also the beaches, way down below. It was just beautiful. The hills are just rolling, and it's like, you want to run down the hill and say, "The hills are alive with the sound of music," or something like that. If I don't lose my balance. Anyway, Imelda had a binocular and said, "Look at that hill over there." I looked over there. Jesus Christ, God damn it! It scared the shit out of me. There was something white on the hill with its arms spread out. Looked like it was running down the hill, and this thing was gigantic. And I got scared. I was like, "Holy crap, let's get out of here." You know what it was? It was a statue of Mother Mary. Yeah, it was a statue of Mother Mary out in the middle of absolutely nowhere. But on this really high hill, they put a statue of the Mother of Christ. Out in the middle of nowhere. This is how fanatical the religion is. I mean, the people are. So they, even in their houses, they have these crosses and statues and pictures and things like that. And Pam was telling me one time that she lived in Ireland for a while. Her ex-husband is Irish, and I think it was her mother that came to visit her. And they got a life-size lamp of the Mother of Christ for their wedding gift. Yeah, and it's lit up. The thing is, when you come close to it, the light turns on. It's one of those kind of lamps, yeah. So her mother was coming down the hallway to use the bathroom in the middle of the night. Out of the blue, this lamp lit up, and her mom just screamed and thought it was a ghost. And so they all ran out the hallway, and it was this lamp of this Mother of Christ, Mary, the Mother of Christ. It's funny. Shit. So you see, the fanaticism is incredible when it comes to religion. Yeah, that's addiction. That is addiction, 100% addiction.